The program, with a 93% success rate, is growing thanks to new funding. We're talking $1 million, and now they'll help not just gun violence victims, but people who experience all types of trauma.
When someone is involved in gun violence as a victim, we're outreaching to them directly. We're offering them services, and we're making sure that they know that they have a way out of that life, of that cycle.
Since 2019, the Violence Intervention Program has been reaching out to victims of gun violence, providing wraparound services from housing to job training in order to stop more violent crimes from being committed.
We know that when you're consistently exposed to violence, it creates this cycle where once you're traumatized, you tend to re-traumatize others.
3 years later, officials say that program has been extremely successful, with only 7% of people being arrested again.
What a lot of ER doctors were saying were, we could sew people up when they have gunshot wounds, but we can't really provide a healing space. And so what does it mean to provide healing-inspired groups, healing-inspired therapy, healing-inspired culturally rooted practices that are based in making sure that people are healed in their heart when something like this happens, and making sure that they understand that there are options other than re-engaging in violence themselves.
That intervenes right after there is a shooting, when you're likely to within days have a retaliation shooting, and it's just one of those programs that has the data to show it really works.
Senator Martin Heinrich sits on the Appropriations Committee.
We just got $1 million for the Violence Intervention Program.
That funding will go towards hiring more staff, from clinicians to outreach workers. It'll also help with operational costs, even taking care of furniture. You're looking at their new offices on Gibson at the Gateway Center.
That particular program is credited with potentially preventing as many as almost 200 shootings. And that's the kind of evidence-based programming that we want to support.
The money means they won't just focus on gun violence, they're expanding with a trauma recovery center, reaching out to all victims of violence.
A lot of it is based on making sure that we have comprehensive outreach. And so that means for folks who are weary of systems, of hospitals, of governments, we're going to them, we're going to their homes, we're going with them to their appointments, and we're making sure that their needs are being met in a way where they don't have to continuously feel distance from the services that are offered.
And it won't just be for those who have experienced trauma. Family members will also be able to get help.
Social emotional supports, culturally rooted programming, and comprehensive outreach and case management.
Making sure victims of violence feel supported, not just by their loved ones, but the community around them.
When you do intervention in a good and meaningful way, it's also a preventative and transformational form of working with somebody. So a good intervention that has long-lasting impacts mean that you are also preventing a crime from happening in the future, preventing someone from possibly losing their housing, helping maintain someone's employment, and also transforming how they can engage and be part of society as a whole.
And as you heard her mention, one of the biggest problems they're seeing is that access to housing. Oftentimes when people don't have a safe place to live, it's harder to keep a job, and you can end up in an even worse situation. So securing permanent housing is one of the many focuses that they have.